case you do not know, my name is Emmy, and I welcome you to Storytime with Emmy. Now, I will be sharing with you a book. Now, there is a book behind here. I don't know what it is. We'll find out. What is it? And look at that! It's the little wooden robot and the log princess. Alright, let's get started. There once lived a king and a queen who happily ruled a pleasant land, but they had no children. So one night, the king went to see the royal inventor, and the queen went to see a clever old witch who lived in the woods. They both asked for the same thing, a child. The inventor set to work right away. She used her finest tools and her most ingenious designs, and she built a wonderful, intricate little wooden robot. The witch took a log from the basket by her fire and used her deepest magic to bring the log to life in the form of a perfect little log princess. The king and the queen and the princess and the robot all loved each other insanely. The log princess was bold and clever, but she had a secret. Each night when she fell asleep, she turned back into a log and would stay like that until she was woken by the magic words, "Awake, little log, awake." The little wooden robot was brave and kind. So kind, in fact, he let a family of beetles nest in his working, even though it tickled sometimes. That tickles. Every day, the robot would wake his log sister, and they would play in the castle and the garden until the sun went down and they were tired out. Are you ticklish? Because I'm coming to tickle you. However, one morning, a traveling circus came to visit, and the robot rushed down to the courtyard without waking his sister. On the stairs, he passed a maid going up to tidy the princess's bedroom. When the maid saw the log, she said, "Oh dear, a plain old log lying on the princess's bed. What a disgrace!" She threw it out the window. At that very moment, the little robot thought of his sister. "How selfish of me," he said to himself. "She's missing out on all these wonderful things." And he ran to her bedroom to wake her up. He looked at the empty bed in horror. "Where's the log?" he cried. "Oh, that," said the maid. "I threw it out of the window." I guess the maid had no idea. The robot looked out and spied the log rolling across the courtyard. He raced down, but the castle was atop a steep hill, and the log had rolled through the gate, through the drawbridge, and down towards the village. A goblin was pushing a barrow of logs through the village, and the princess log rolled right up to him. "What a lucky day," he said. "Another fine log for my load." The goblin took the logs to the river where a barge was tied up. The captain paid him a copper coin, and his barrow load was tipped into the barge with hundreds and hundreds of other logs. The robot ran to the barge. "Please, sir," he said to the captain, "my special log is in your barge. May I come aboard and search for it?" "You may," said the captain, "but we must set sail straight away while the wind is right." So the robot clambered on, and the barge set off for the frozen north. He sailed for days, but there were so very many logs that even with the help of the crew, the little wooden robot could not find the right one. arrived and unloaded the cargo. "Come back with us," said the captain. "The North is a dangerous place where we can easily find you another log when we get home." "I can't," said the robot. "That log is the most precious thing in the world to me. I can't leave without it." So the crew gave him a map, some supplies, and a handcart, and sailed back to the pleasant land where our story began. The night was long and cold. The little wooden robot shivered as he searched. Then something caught his eye, something familiar. He reached into the pile and caught out a log. It was the princess! Finally! He danced for joy with the log in his arms and was about to recite the magic words when he realized how awful it would be for his poor sister who had fallen asleep in her cozy little bed to wake her, freezing and far from home. So he put her into the handcart, tucked a blanket around her, and took up the handle and began walking and taking a long walk home. Along the way, he had too many adventures to recount here. The giant's key, family of robbers, the old lady in a bottle, the magic pudding, the lonely bear, the queen of the mushrooms. What? Weird. But each left him more exhausted than the last. His joints became stiff and his clogs and gears wore down until one day he could not go further. With the last of his strength, he said the magic words, woke the princess and told her what had happened, how it was all his fault, and that he understood that she would probably never forgive him. "Oh, brother," she said, "how silly of you to keep all these words for yourself. Of course I forgive you." She helped him into the handcart where he fell into a deep sleep. She took the map and the handle to the cart and continued the walk home. She had too many adventures. Uh-oh, now it's her. The mischievous pixies. The dragon's egg. I want to get close to it when it hatches. The Odin hunters. The haunted well. Whew, scary. The enormous bird. Wait, what? Is that back in dinosaur times? The baby in a rose bush. Aww. The princess knew that whatever happened, however tired she felt, she must not fall asleep. But one night, as she was trudging through a dark forest, which she was sure couldn't be that far from home, she began to yawn. Ooh. And then she yawned some more. And her eyes felt heavy. And her legs felt tired. And she thought of her cozy little bed in the castle. Perhaps I should close my eyes just for a moment, she said. And with that, she fell asleep and pop! Turned into a log. The king and queen missed their children terribly. The soldiers had been sent searching in every direction, and a huge reward had been offered. But it was no good. The queen would not leave her bed, and the king sat alone in a tower staring out in the deep, dark forest. Little did he know that in the forest was a clearing. In that clearing was a handcart, and in that handcart was a little wooden box. And in that, the robot's worn out, broken down workings. The family of beetles was wondering why everything was so still and quiet. They climbed out and looked at the log and the robot and knew they must do something. So they asked a passing mouse and asked her for help, and she asked the bird, who asked a rabbit, who asked a fox. And they all worked together to take the princess and the robot to the nearest house, the home of the clever old witch. The witch recognized the pair immediately. She woke the princess, repaired the robot, and set off for the castle. The king could hardly believe his eyes as he watched the little group, all crowded onto a broomstick, fly over the forest and sit down on the castle's courtyard. Wow, they must have really crowded. The robot and the princess and the queen all hugged and laughed and cried. The witch was thanked, and the month was declared a holiday for the whole kingdom. Beetles were each given a tiny golden medal. They lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you really liked the book. Please make a comment. Bye!